Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Danny's Life and Travel, and today once again I will be talking about AMD. Now AMD for the past week, we had on Friday, as you can see here, it was at around $11. Then on Tuesday it went up from there, so we are 11.22, ended the day slightly higher, and then on Wednesday they had the Computex event, and that made the stock surge higher. But then the issue we had is Wednesday was a down day, for the markets themselves. Even the video was down, so it kind of dampened it down. And then on top of that, I think that continued into Thursday, and then on Friday it recovered to some extent, and now it's at 10.90 dollars. Overall, if you have a look at the 6-month chart, it is going sideways now. So again, we don't know if this will continue or it will go down more or go higher. The 200-day moving average is the support anyway, so that's what we're looking at. And the ceiling is the 50-day moving average. So it has been there and then there, I think, as well, because it went to 13 actually. It's not even 12.75. So it went to 13 there, and then I think that'll be the ceiling. But I am hoping that, I'm hoping it will go up in the future. I'm going to show you a couple of articles to back that up, to show you why I think that. But I see these moving averages going the 200-day moving average will go slightly higher, and this one will start to move sideways as well, the 50-day moving average, because that's the trend now, and that's where it's going. So it's already been about 30 days. So you just gotta let 50 days pass from the 2nd of May. So 2nd of May. So 2nd of June was 30 days, roughly speaking. So another 20 days, and this thing should start moving sideways. As for the 100-day moving average, yes, it has gone above the 50-day moving average. But I noticed something. I have this theory. My theory is that if you look at NVIDIA had a similar thing here. So it had the 100-day moving average going above the 50-day moving average, right? And that carried on for some time. So let's see, that's April 22, and then by May 9, right, up to May 9. So it's nearly a month, about a week shy of a month. So for a month it goes sideways and then straight up, right? So and they kept this one down for a good 5 months. So if you look at the way it was going, it went down, up, and then it was down, 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 right? So at this point, on February 7, it was about 120, same 120 around December time. But then from that point onwards, it was down, 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 down. So if you just take that as a marker, February 7 to May 9. So if you look at that, so 3 months, right? So 3 months down there. If you take it from there, it's about 5 months. But they kept this down for quite a long time. I think that's what happened, because if you look at it, Goldman Sachs downgraded. They said it should be $90, right? And everybody else was, they believed in them. The market perception turned against the stock, and it was down, down, down. And then when they had the earnings, that's what brought it back up again, really. So I'm thinking it may be a similar story for AMD as well, where it's gone down and then now it's going sideways, and then the only thing that can really bring it up is either there's some hype about a product, which I don't think there will be, because we've seen the Computex and all the other events and they haven't really moved it, so I'm not relying on that. So hype is out the window. The other main one is the earnings. So I think earnings are about a month and a half away. So we're at I think it's July 20th or July 2027, something like that. So about 2 months away, roughly speaking. So 8 weeks down the line, I think they're gonna have good earnings. And the reason why I think they're gonna have good earnings is because of this. So basically, this article by Seeking Alpha is very, very good, very revealing. It says AMD business model highlights and implications. So basically it talks about how they have increased potential in different sectors. So if you look at this chart, I think is a good example. So we got in 2016 they could only take advantage of this amount, so it was about 8 billion roughly speaking, and then they're saying that in 2017 with Ryzen they should be able to take advantage of about 15 billion dollars in this market, and then in 2018 it should be more like 28 billion, right? And a lot of people, including myself, think that this is very conservative, that it would be higher. There should be about 20, 20, and then maybe 30 there, but not 15. We think it'll be better than this, better than what they're letting on. I think they're giving conservative estimates, and then it's happened before where we beat earnings. So that's what I think will be happening on this front. And again, this one, back to these charts, from I think it's the analyst day. So it said the top end of the market represents 15% of the volume, but over 66% of the margins, right? 66% of the margins. So again, it's all untapped potential right there. One of the other things was that I didn't realize before that they're gonna have 3 different graphics cards. So you got Radeon RX Vega, which is gaming, RX Radeon Pro, which is the Frontier Edition, I think, for the professionals and content creators, and then you've got this one which I didn't see before, Radeon Instinct, and that's for machine intelligence, right? So that's like inferencing and what NVIDIA is trying to do as well, for AI and deep learning and all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be really interesting to see how they make money from that. But the key point is that the segment that they have is the server one, from the server segment. I'm going to try and see if I can find that. Yeah, here you go, data center. So the current market cap, if you go back to AMD, let's show you. So it's market cap is 10 billion, right? 10.3 billion right now, and that's at $10. So it's easy to figure out. $10, 10 billion. So $20, 20 billion, right? So if you look at this this year, the data center alone is $21 billion, and AMD has at the moment they have less than 1% of this market, and with the full spread of EPYC CPUs, for server CPUs, and then they've got the Vega GPU coming out, they're in a very good position to take advantage of this. Let's be conservative, and let's say they take up let's say 30% of this, right? I mean 50% would be about 10 billion. Let's be even more conservative. Let's say 25% of this market, right? That would be an extra 5 billion, right? 5 billion in revenue. So 5 billion in revenue would increase the so it'll affect the market cap. That's what I'm trying to say, by a huge amount. It'll be billions. And then on top of that, you've got remember they've got the gaming side and the CPU side. And on the gaming side, I read somewhere that the 580 GPUs have been selling out, and 480 GPUs have been selling out for cryptocurrency mining. So cryptocurrency mining is a big thing, and if they have been selling out those, and on top of that, I think there was another article I read that the Ryzen CPUs, when they getting them from the foundries, they're printing off the wafers, they're getting about 80% usable CPUs on this, so they're getting a good yield, right? So those two things combined, I don't think they factored those in when they were doing their projections of how much they're going to grow here. So there's a lot of surprise factor within that. So if they have a good yield on the foundry side, where they can produce the CPUs with no faults, and there's more and more that come out very good, so they have a high yield that reduces the cost base, and again more profit. And on top of that, if they're selling out of the graphics cards, then that's good as well, because that hasn't been factored in. And then what else have we got? So again, this is for the GPU side. They're showing what they have going on right now. So we've got Xbox, PS, what is it, Microsoft, what is it, Scorpio as well, and then Polaris and Vega. So they're saying we can take advantage of that. It's slightly higher than 2016, but 2018 they're saying they should go a lot higher. I think again this is a little conservative. We may actually hit 2018 mark in 2017. So again, it's just showing all the all the slides from the analyst day. So here, one of the big issues was at the last earnings was gross margins are not growing fast enough. So they said in 2000, from 2016 to 2018, you should get 36%. It should go up to 36% gross margin, and then beyond that, it should be 40%. So that's what they're expecting. But again, I think the 36% margin, they could achieve maybe somewhere close to that. Maybe we get 33, 34 in 2017. Maybe even 36 possible. But again, I think they're being very conservative, and that's a good thing. So longer term, there's no potential for disappointment. So yeah, so they're saying double digit again. They're saying long term financial model. So you're looking at double digit growth over the next couple of years, and I think that's very conservative as well. So they're generalizing. They're not saying exactly how much, but I think it's very conservative. Margins against 44%, earnings per share 0.75%. I think that is conservative, and so is that. All of it very conservative. And so the summary of this was AMD's new products allow it to effectively target the high end of each of the markets it serves, where the gross margins are the highest. The company is revising its business model to reflect the changes. However, we believe the company is being conservative. We expect AMD to meet most if not all of its stated 2020 goals in 2018. Just about the only risk for AMD is execution risk with its new products, given that the company has already launched multiple products based on the new architecture it has developed. We view this risk as small. AMD remains the top semiconductor pick for 2017 and 18. We are long AMD. Yeah. So they basically got puts on Intel Core, so they think that's going to go down, and think AMD is going to go up. So see, it may be a bit of a biased article, but I think they have good points, because this is what I invested my money for in the beginning, and this is what I keep going back to every time I see something new, somebody talking the stock down. I ask myself, has the fundamental story changed? And if you look at what was it, Kramer? Where's he gone? Hold on, I had Jim Kramer up here somewhere. Yeah, so Jim Kramer says, I think AMD is fine. It's a good situation. I don't know what he means by it's a good situation, or maybe it's a good situation in the company. But AMD, originally I thought they've got new products coming out in a segment they've never been in before. I mean, they haven't been for 10 years. So it's going to be huge, right? They're going to definitely take market share. That's a given, right? Is that already baked into the stock? At $15, yes. At $10, I don't think so. I don't think it is to that. So to a high extent, let's say. Maybe they expect some growth, but they're not really confident. On top of that, the stock has been talked down, so it might have been oversold so far. So they really need to see numbers, and then it'll boost back up. It'll go back up to a certain level. But overall, I mean, let's go back to perception as well for the news. Overall, it's all positive pretty much. Apart from retailers, where was it gone? Dire predictions for retailers, retail stocks struck by another bad week full of store closures and looming bankruptcies. So yeah, I think the bricks and mortar stores, they're gonna have problems. We saw that declining anyway. I mean, where I live in the UK, I have been talking to people pretty much for the past few weeks, at least in depth, about what they're doing. And there are people who own businesses who are selling their bricks and mortar businesses, from restaurants to anything else. They're selling them, and they're going back and working for those businesses, as a delivery driver or something silly like that, right? But they're doing these things because it's not really amazing, and the economy is not so really amazing. There's not so many people about, not so many customers, and it's really really tough to make money. The key thing is everyone's looking at each other. So you'll have one person who owns a business asking somebody else who owns a business, talking to them and say, "Oh, you're doing pretty well. I'm suffering." But the reality is everybody's suffering. It's not just one person. I've had people like insurance consultants, training consultants, and I talk to them, and it's the same thing. There's this company, was it Music Magpie? I had a guy from Music Magpie, one of the managers who worked there, and I was talking to him, and he said the same thing. He said, "Oh, before we could sell, a CD for £1 or whatever, and people don't want to pay that now. So it's really really tough. It's getting really really tough." Another one was in manufacturing. I met someone last week where he was saying, I was asking, "Oh, where do you work now?" And he said he worked in a factory that produced washing machines and tumble dryers, that kind of thing. And we were talking about it, and he said again, the production lines have been hugely reduced. I mean, there's nowhere near the capacity that they had before. They're not building more capacity to produce more. And he's saying that a lot of people have been let go of, that have been fired, and it's really tough on them. And he's saying that China really really hit them hard. So these are the issues that people are dealing with. It's not easy. They are dealing with really really tough issues, and that's why bricks and mortars, motor stores, I thought will go down. So I'm not surprised to see that. The oil thing, I always believed that the oil thing, the agreement they made, they didn't have the Americans in there. So every time the price would go beyond, I think, $55, it would make sense for the American oil producers to start pumping again. And once they started pumping again, then there's oversupply, and then the price would come down. So it was capped at about $55 always, and it would bounce up and down, be volatile there. The rest of it's not, generally speaking, it's not really bad news. There's nothing really negative that would bring down the stocks. So again, perception is okay, if not good. So I think I've covered everything so far. Covered Kramer. Yeah. Another one was here that AMD is slashing prices. They're not slashing them by a huge amount. So the 1800X was at $499. Where are we now? Yeah, so it's gone to $450. And then this one was the 1700X. What was that? Before $399. That's $350. So yeah, it is down, but I think it'll be stagnating downwards. So what they're going to do is they launch it, the price is high, and then they will stagnate it downwards, and then just before they launch the next best product. So I think the Threadripper CPU they're going to launch, that one they're going to take the high end market with that one, the really enthusiast market, and then the lower end they can deal with it here. But if you really look at the entire range of products, right, overall, if you take, if you look at how much market share each product can take, and you put together all of that, all of the different chunks of market share it's taken, from the CPU market, from the gaming market, from the server market, from deep learning, all of it, it does add up to quite a bit. And I wouldn't be surprised if the stock goes to $15, but I think it's fair value at 17 to 20. Yeah, that's conservative. I always said that, and I still believe that. In the short to medium term, I don't know where it's going to go. It could carry on going sideways, or it could go down a little, maybe hit the 200-day moving average. But as long as I think as long as it doesn't break through that, we're okay, pretty much. but over the longer term, I think it goes up. I think we have about 2 months which are really tough, and then after that we'll have a basically a good positive earnings which will boost it up. That's my say prediction, if you could say. But there's no certainty. I mean, anything can happen from here to then. I mean, I don't know about world events or anything like that. It could be other market factors that affect it. So, I mean, on the company side, on its own, if there's nothing wrong with the execution, they continue the way they're going, I think it'll be positive earnings. There's no doubt about that. So anyway, guys, thanks for listening. This video's gone on long enough, 20 minutes. So I'll catch you next time. And if you have any questions, again, please comment in the section below. Please like and subscribe. Once again, I will post the books on there if you want to have a read about stock trading, and also the way you need to change your thinking in order to make some serious cash. I have done it in my life, and that's how I managed to make a bit of money. And I don't have any debt, no mortgage, nothing. Just living, and that's why I can afford not to have a full-time job, so to speak, and just continue with this and give myself a little bit of money to live on and try and make different things work. So you can do that. I mean, you've got Rich Dad Poor Dad, which will change the way you think, and then you've got the Intelligent Investor, which helps you with value investing, which is what I want to do, instead of just doing day-to-day trading, I'm not interested in that really. I don't think you can make any money from that really. I mean, you can in the short to medium term, but there'll come a time where you will lose. You lose big. You lose a lot of money. I have tried many theories over the past year. There's no consistency. So that's my take on that. So yeah, guys, I also have a website which I'm developing right now. It's not fully complete, but I'll put the link in the description below so you can check that out as well. If you want to give me feedback on that, let me know what you think. If you think I should improve something, let me know. Again, guys, take care. Have a good evening or morning, wherever you are in the world. And I'll catch you next time. Danny out.